All right, welcome back. We're with Mr. Al Levron, the Parish Manager of Terrebonne Parish. We're talking about some road projects, and then we're going to morph into drainage a little bit, but a couple of more road projects, I think.
Sure, Martin. One of the projects I'd like to mention is that we have been working in a project called the Off-System Bridge Replacement Program with DOTD, where we actually can have federal funds coming into the state and into the local government for the replacement of local bridges. We are also pleased to announce that the bids for the St. Anne Bridge replacement have been received. Now, again, if everybody knows what St. Anne is, it's in the town of Berg. It connects basically Highway 24 and Country Drive, goes over Bayou Terrebonne. The contractor of Coastal Bridge Company submitted a low bid of $4.2 million for that project. Given the fact that it's going to be administered by the state, we are awaiting them to award the contract to Coastal Bridge for this swing bridge. Okay, right now it is a swing bridge, but it's a single lane. We thought maybe we could construct what's called a Bascule Bridge that opens this way. Unfortunately, we were not able to convince DOT to do that. There are a couple other projects. Of course, there's the elevation of Highway 315 that is of a lot of concern to the people in the Dularge area. It's my understanding that the work is underway. I tried to get an update today as to when the completion, but I was unable to get a report from DOTD. Additionally, Highway 24 in the Presque-Isle-Klondike area will be going to bid very shortly, and that will also encompass a number of turn lanes. Okay. One of our other projects in our major thoroughfare plan, our major corridor plan, I should say, is the extension of Bayou Gardens from Coteau Road to Bayou Blue Road. The firm of T. Baker Smith and Son is doing the engineering on that. We've got land rights underway. We've got wetland permits underway, and we also have a funding plan to provide the funding for the entirety of the project. We are hoping that in the calendar year 2012 that we could bring this thing to construction.
It sounds like a lot of different engineers are getting a lot of work economy-wise, and then David Waits is doing one that I'm working with you all on. So a lot of people are getting a little piece of the pie.
Well, I think all of the professionals in the area have an opportunity to contract with the parish, and I think historically you'll see that the work has been moved around amongst the various firms that are qualified to do the work.
That's good for the economy too.
Well, it certainly is.
Yeah, absolutely.
You mentioned drainage. We have a litany of drainage projects. Let me digress just a second. Okay. The projects that I just described that are currently underway or nearing construction, we're talking about in excess of $30 million of local funds that are being channeled into transportation improvements in this community. Again, we're using various funding sources. We're looking at FEMA has participated. We're looking at the CDBG, HUD funds putting in the project. We're also looking at Federal Highway Administration funds. All of these funds are being matched with local monies to get the bigger bang for the buck.
It seems like this administration has been really focused on trying to acquire funds from different sources. Have you found that just from all over the place?
We are very aggressive on looking any opportunity for funding. Again, if you can spend a quarter and get $1, why should we not always be looking for those opportunities? Mm-hmm. And that's basically what it is with FEMA dollars, where it's 75%, or better yet, CDBG grants, where it's 100% federal funding.
Somebody's going to get the money, just shouldn't be terrible.
Well, unfortunately, we had to go through several storms in order to qualify, but people of Terrebonne are very resilient.
Sure.
With respect to drainage, of course, you're very well aware that there's a project on the books, what we typically call the Concorde Drainage project, and you're a participant in that project. You have
a joint venture between me and the parish,
a joint venture.
I'm proud to be a part of.
That is correct. That's a $1.5 million project that would provide for a 10-foot level of protection around the communities of Barrios, Fahey Street, back around to the Country Club Drive area. That project, again, we're pleased to say that actually I signed the request for bids today. So
yeah.
it's moving toward
For full
construction.
record, I think I saw y'all 500,000 somewhat dollars of land for 300,000. So
That is correct.
for public disclosure.
That it was
Okay, very good.
it's transparent.
All right. Very good.
We have a number of other pump stations, drainage pump stations that are currently being replaced. You know, the parish drainage system or the forced drainage system really dates back to the middle 1970s, where the police jury decided to start putting these pumps. And these pump stations are really reaching their useful life. So we're looking to replace these. There are two projects that we just received bids on. One of them is the Ashland pump station. That's right in the vicinity of Ashland North subdivision. It actually services the area of Upper Bayou Grand Kaya, the Thompson Road area. The Elysian Fields area actually drains into this area. The Highway 57 along the old Geno's, if you're familiar with that, all of that drains into this pump station. Bids were received, and the good news is we had 15 bidders on that project, Martin. 15 bidders. It drove the price down. The project came in $1 million under the estimate. So, you know, we're hoping that this competition continues into all of our projects.
Then it gives you $1 million you can put in another project.
It sure does, and there is a another project going, a companion project with this Ashland pump station, is the Outfall Channel. We found that when we were designing this pump station that we realized that the downstream channel was insufficiently sized to accept the flow that we were going to put in it. Keep in mind, we're upgrading the pump station, additional capacity, so we had a situation that if we don't upgrade the downstream channel, that we would be overflowing the banks.
Y'all also increased the pump station in back of Barrios, and I'm familiar with that, and that's worked wonders, hasn't it?
That's right. The Concord pump station, several years ago, we had statewide flood control. That's actually the gasoline tax of the state of Louisiana is funneled into the State Department of Public Works, and it's funneled down into local governments. It's another example of us matching funding with other programs to bring them to Terrebonne.
That's good.
So the Summerfield pump station is another one of our replacement projects. Here again, the bids were received in the last several days. 12 contractors submitted bids. This project was actually $1.5 million under the engineer's estimate.
Wow.
Now, you may say, well, the engineer must be overestimating. Well, not so. If you look at the average of all these 12 bids, you got the highs, you got the lows,
Right.
and if you look at the average, that's about what the engineer was estimating.
Let me ask you, on both of those projects, is it the same bid of getting to work?
It is not. In
Well,
one case,
that's
it's
interesting, too. That's good.
Ashland Pump Station. It's a local company,
Yeah.
Sea Level Construction.
Yeah.
Summerfield Pump Station, it's a firm out of Alexandria.
Okay.
That's the apparent low bidder on that.
So good. You're right. Competition all around the table.
That
Yeah.
it's good for the community.
Okay. So let's take a break. When we come back, we'll close things out with Al Levron, Parish Manager. Then we'll have the Police Chief of Houma, Todd Duplantis, on the set. Don't go away.